we are really excited to be today with Ashley. We speak about a great topic or something a bit different from the other webinar you can see around. It's like we wanted to take another view, and she will explain basically how she started a new role as a CMO. And I think it's quite important because with all this change, with all the challenges we have right now with AI search, with AI tools, with automation, and also with reducing budget everywhere. So I think it will be really interesting to see how Ashley started her new role as a CMO and how she was able to build a scalable marketing engine from scratch with a small team. But before going into the questions and your answer, let me introduce you, Ashley, quickly. So you started a new role, as I said. I search at SearchLab. SearchLab is a SEO and PPC agency, but maybe you can tell us a bit more about you and about your background and about your company.
Yeah, certainly. So my background is in content marketing. I've been in digital marketing for about 15 years now and have done everything from social ads, content, SEO, a little bit of PR, the works. It has changed, as I'm sure a lot of your journeys have also changed as well, quite a bit. Working both in-house, I've opened up 4 different marketing companies, and now I'm the director of marketing at SearchLab Digital, and we specialize in local SEO and PPC services for small and medium-sized businesses. Right now, we're doing a whole lot of projects. I know we're going to talk all about that, so I'll wait to dive into that. But really happy to be here and share what my journey has been as a director of marketing a few different times, and starting brand new, coming in as a CMO for both in-house and agency world.
Great. Thank you, Ashley. I mean, you invited me a few years ago on your podcast, and so I wanted to give you the chance to join the through webinar. And thanks for joining. And we were discussing with Ashley what kind of topic we could discuss. There is many topics in the SEO space, but she shared a LinkedIn post, and then I told her, look, we should speak about that. And I will read now the LinkedIn post because I think it could be, it will basically summarize what we will say. So in the first 4 months, we have rebuilt or created from scratch a webinar production process, a full podcast rebrand, testimonial intake process, centralized marketing asset system, a content calendar, an event process, quick win lead gen campaign. So you did a lot in when you joined this company. So I see, when did you join exactly? In June, right?
Yes. So I started as a fractional CMO in May, and within the first few weeks, this is a great fit. We definitely should make this a little bit more official, and there's a lot of work to be done here. So let's make it happen. So I started full time beginning of June.
Great. And so let me know, what was your first week? I mean, when you joined in a new role as a CMO, how did you approach your very first week?
The first week it's full of so many different emotions because you're super excited. Like, it's new role, new company, new services, sometimes new product, a completely different brand, totally different landscape. And so generally you want to dive right in. And the first thing that I did, and the way that I decided to dive in, was I want to talk to everybody. I want to understand what everyone's doing, what everyone's roles are, what's been done in the past, and then most importantly, what does everyone want from marketing? So I would talk to people on the SEO and PPC departments. I talked to all of leadership. I scheduled one-on-one meetings to, introduce myself, get to know the team a little bit, but also, what do they want help with? What have they been like, we really need this one thing, or this is broken, this is where the issues are. I wanted to, right in my first week, start pinpointing and hearing from the people that have been here, been in the company, been doing things, what they need the most help with and where they want the focuses to go. Granted, this is talking to sales departments, like people outside of the marketing team, and getting their perspective. And that's where, in past roles, I've always tried to do the same kind of exercise because I found it really interesting. You'll hear from non-marketers what they need help with in like the most plain and simple language. Like, it's so black and white. And then you go and talk to marketers and they're like, well, we need this, and that. Like it's this like very messy map of all these things. Whereas sales is like, this is exactly what we need. And it's so black and white. So that's what I spent my first week doing, is just talking and listening to everybody.
And you were welcomed by the sales team as well, I guess. Did, did they ask you for leads, in fact?
Of course. They're like, we need leads. And I joined at the Q3 blues. I mean, if you're in agency world or
Yeah, before summer, right? Yes.
it's brutal. It's brutal. Like Q3 is so difficult to keep momentum. Conferences are pretty much stopped. People are on vacation, or people are mentally on vacation. They're not clocked in. They don't want to sign new contracts. They're not trying to figure out where we can fit X, Y, and Z in the budget. And so, of course, the first thing sales ask for is, well, we need leads, because we're now in the summer blue period where things are about to start drying up a little bit. It's a little bit harder to get engagement and literally just to talk to people, to connect with people. And so that's when the idea of, well, we need a quick win campaign. We need something that can just start generating leads without a lot of work. That's where week 2 kind of started.
But I mean, maybe it's not so bad to start just before summer, because as you can set up all your processes and you can start to prepare something for September. In fact, I don't know how is it in the US, because I mean in Europe. I mean, by the way, so I'm in France. I'm French, as you can hear. Actually, if you are in the US, I assume the atmosphere or the feeling in summertime is not really the same. To be honest, in Europe, nobody's working. I exaggerate a bit, but in Europe, I mean, July and August, you cannot do business a lot. So is it the same in the US?
No, unfortunately, it's not the same.
You work, right? You are working.
Yeah. Well, it's worse. Arguably, it's worse. We're working, but we're mentally clocked out wanting to be on vacation. And so to get people to do anything and to try and convert anyone, even though they may be at our desks, whereas European clients are not physically at their desks, they don't want to sign with a new agency. They don't want to do all new campaigns. Like, they're trying to just bare minimum. Let's get through summer. Let's get to my next vacation period. And then in fall, everything starts to ramp up again.
Great. Before you joined, how was existing marketing activities? Like, what kind of channel and assets they were using?
Yeah, they were actually doing a phenomenal job asset-wise. So there's a webinar series, there's a podcast series, there's a weekly video series that our biggest thought leader, Greg Gifford, leads. Every single Tuesday, he releases a new video, and he's been doing that for years. They have events and conferences that they speak at, and that they do a booth and like do exhibiting at. So social advertising, organic, email marketing, all the right channels. But like you mentioned, joining at summer was a double-edged sword, because there were a lot of benefits, since it was a bit of a slower period, to where I could come in and be like, all right, we have all these great things happening. Let's take a step back. Let's start seeing what's working, how messaging and positioning for each of these pieces of content in all of these channels. Let's think about all of that first. And let's take this summer to really operationalize everything as much as we possibly can, so that when conference season, which we just had our first kickoff this week of conferences, when conference season starts back up, we have some foundational things ready to go that we can confidently deploy again.
So you decided basically to pause or to kill some activities when you joined?
I did. I was like, I came in very gently, as gently as I could.
Stop everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I came in with a little bit of a shield and a fire hose and was like, all right, all of this stuff is great, but we're going to stop all of it. And that's when I decided, I was like, we're going to launch a quick win campaign, so we at least still have something rotating. But let's take a second. Is anyone really going to miss if we pause things and relaunch them? And when I looked at the analytics, when I looked at the data of some of the content channels, it was safe. It was safe to do so. So for the podcast, for the webinars, and for email marketing, decided we're going to pause all of these for 1 month. Just give me 1 month of pausing this content. And in that month, that was when we looked at what are we going to change? How are we going to change these things? Are we going to use new tools like for email marketing? Like it opened up all of these conversations and gave us 1 month to really identify what the biggest things are that we should pivot on and not pivot on so that we could relaunch everything with a lot of thought, a lot of intention, and some data to back it as well.
But so I guess, I mean, it's always hard a bit when you come in a new role to challenge what exists, right? But you have to do it. I mean, you have to do it because you were hired for a purpose. You need also to challenge what exists. And as you said, so your first week, you started to ask questions to leaderships, to salespeople, to everybody, basically. I guess then you took 4 weeks to audit existing campaign, existing asset. You wanted to understand what is working, what is not working. And so what was basically your, how did you pick the initiative that were working well? Or basically, what was your KPI to define that something was working well or not?
That's a great question. So I was looking at per channel, per content type, how much engagement it was getting. And the things that weren't having a lot of engagement, but we were putting a lot of strategy behind, a lot of thought behind, but it didn't have the lift yet. You know, whenever you do something new in content, you very rarely, the 1% gets that viral opportunity to where it just works right away. Usually it takes a whole lot of time to like actually take off. And so I looked at the pieces of content that were fairly new, that didn't have a lot of engagement, but we had a lot of good strategy behind it. And that's when I kind of worked backwards and started pulling in additional KPIs to look at, okay, well, is it topic related? Is it the host? Is it how we're advertising for it? Is it what we're doing after? And then that kind of very clearly pinpointed what pieces of content and what systems we could pause and rebuild.
You know, I have a second question behind the first. In fact, why I'm asking you that, because often I guess we also only look at, let's say, quantitative KPIs, like how many leads it generates. So for sure, if you have something that generates a lot of leads, keep it. It's not my point. But sometimes it's more like there is more nuance in some activities that, especially in marketing, that in fact are more for brand awareness. And here it's hard to measure. So, you know, this was my question, you know, but because there is some stuff that takes weeks, months. So how did you balance basically between short-term lead generation and also long-term brand building when you decided to pause or restart these different campaigns?
So anything that was directly bringing in leads that I could, as someone brand new, could come in, look at the data and see this is bringing leads. I'm not going to touch those things. Those are working
there is
right
leads.
now.
Don't touch it. There is leads.
Exactly. Could it be improved? Of course, everything can always be improved. But let's not start a fire there yet. The things that weren't bringing in leads, the things that weren't getting engagement, those are the things that I was like, this is safe for us to pause. But it was also interesting because along that process, I was able to identify, okay, some of the things that were bringing in the most leads were events for us. So speaking at events or exhibiting at events like that. That is traditional marketing. That works for so many agencies and so many SaaS companies, just brands in general. That always works really well. But there were certain things within how we did events, what we did after events, that there were some holes there that weren't bringing in leads or wasn't bringing in as many as we could. So I focused on the very black and white things first that were very safe to touch, that weren't bringing in leads. It wasn't going to mess up any funnel or system, to work on those. And those were more thought leadership kind of content, more of the educational, very top of funnel type of content. And then the things that were more bottom of funnel, like conferences that are much more aggressive, let that just continue to run as it is. But I had a notepad that I just started writing ideas of when we can and when we get to that stage, how we can improve this. So it was kind of like doing both of the things simultaneously, but not rebuilding systems that were working well enough at the moment.
Also, as I mentioned, or you told me when we are preparing this interview, your team is very small, right? you have
Yeah.
you and one or two other guys, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
It's very small.
which is, I mean, most of the agencies and most of companies have small marketing teams. By the way, I mean, huge. I think huge marketing team is something from the past,
Yes.
um, and because now I guess, I mean, I will let you obviously develop here, but you leverage, I guess, different tools and also you improve your processes. So can you maybe explain a bit how you structure your process and yes, what you automate, what you do manually? So yeah.
Mhm. Yes, certainly. So when I came in, about 70% of things, if not maybe that's probably even higher percentage, was all done manually. And most companies that I come in on, that's how it is. And that's simply because that's how it's always been done. And when things are being done manually, you don't have any time to go rebuild a whole system and start to automate things. You don't have time to go into Airtable or build out an agent to help you automate things or let alone explore new tools. Like that was another thing that I did in month 2 was let's look at our tool stack because there's some tools in here that we could be using to help automate some of the things like scheduling tools, like very baseline to more complex tools that
You have a proper example of something that was manual and you transform with tools and automation or even AI.
yes, yes. So I can share something that we're working on right now because we're almost done with it is our webinar process. So when we have a webinar, we have a live webinar and we use Wistia for that. When
Okay.
the webinar is done, that's when all the fun begins. That's when all the content production begins. Before, everything was manual. You downloaded the video out of Wistia, you took the transcript, sent it to video editors, sent it to graphic designers, started creating a blog post out of it, started creating like a bunch of mini pieces of content so that we could reuse this webinar a bunch of different times. And even things as simple as scheduling it to publish on YouTube, creating a bunch of mini reels and shorts, scheduling those on YouTube. So now we're working on an automated process using a variety of different tools and agents to connect everything to where as soon as the webinar is done, the file, no one has to manually download it and store that very large, lovely file on their desktop. The file is automatically sent to YouTube. It's automatically sent to our design and video team. It's automatically sent into different brackets. Things are notified inside ClickUp. Like there's all these automations that start from this like webinar in sequence, essentially. And that's just one of many ways with content that right after you publish something, I feel like most of the bulk of the work usually starts there. And that's where things like Airtable now allow us to automate so many of the mundane tasks before of even downloading everything, adding it to Drive. So we have our own backups of everything. Things aren't living in Wistia or in YouTube. You have the original pieces of content. And so that's just one example of by the end of this year, I'm hoping we have a whole bunch more automated.
I'm
But
really interested in your process because I'm doing also many webinars and I'm doing everything manually. So,
yes, yeah, it's
so
tedious.
what are the tools? Can you just a bit deep dive
Mhm.
here? What are the tools that you use for this whole process? So once it's done, how you automate everything like
Mhm.
downloading and publishing on YouTube? What tools do
So
you
right
use?
now it's a connection through Airtable through different API connections. We're also connecting things like from Wistia to Mailchimp to Pipedrive. So
Okay.
even that sequence all talks to each other. So we're able to see who registered for our webinars versus who attended versus then opened up our emails versus now is doing demos with our sales team. We can see all of those touch points.
And
So
so you
setting up
send a message based on the behavior, meaning if they attended, if they only registered, stuff like this. So everything is automated, and also you directly push everything on YouTube. Or do you also create shorts automatically, or you do it manually? This process.
no. Yeah, we have a lovely video editor who is amazing and helps us create shorts. There's tools that I've used in the past at other companies like Descript that I've used to create reels and shorts for me from podcast content, from webinar content, and it does it. I won't say quote unquote automatically. You still have to go in and tell it, hey, create some shorts for me. I want 5 of them and I want them this long. And the AI aspect of it will scan the transcript and identify pieces that it thinks should become shorts. There's a lot of tools like Descript out there that do that and that are great. But right now, we're still doing that manually just because we haven't found AI to identify the parts of a webinar or a podcast that really are the best and that really would be good for social or that would start a conversation. So we're going through and we have someone who a bunch of the team is live on the webinars and watches the webinars. And we have someone who is going through and making timestamp notes of, ooh, this was a really good conversation right at minute 11, 12. And so then we communicate that with the video editor. So that we're still probably going to hold on to manually until AI gets a little bit better.
Yeah, sure. Personally, I also do that manually because I didn't find a tool who can really find the right sections, and it's better that I cut it myself and then send it to a transcript tool and uploading on YouTube. But I think, really interesting. I need to work on automation. I mean, it's key because, as you said, you take the time to post things, to prepare basically the backbone of your future marketing machine. And I believe that's often something we don't take. We don't take the time to pause things and to just rebuild and rethink. Because also, I don't know for you, but everything is going super fast. Everything is fast. Everything is fast. You just need to deliver. So it's also a strength, I think, to say, let's pause it, let's rethink, let's rebuild, and we will be more effective.
Yes, and so many people are afraid to do that because of the idea of, well, we have to keep pumping content out. If we stop, then the algorithm gods are no longer going to like us. They're no longer going to serve our content, or we're going to.
We all know this problem, right? We need to.
Oh, it's so stressful, and
Yes.
there is truth to it, but there's also truth to, well, if you spend the next 3 months just publishing the same kind of content that you've been publishing in the past year that isn't doing anything for you, doesn't mean it's going to do anything for you. And if you keep doing it.
I feel guilty now, really. I feel really bad because there is so many things I can do better as well. Sometimes when you run a business, it's not for 1 year or 2 years, it's a long time. So you can take 2 months just to pause and to rethink. I'm just speaking to myself now. I should take a note, please. Take 2 months of really rethinking what is working, what is not working. No, it's true. I mean, this is, and I think, we should this is a good takeaway. We should take our time. If C-levels are watching us, please give us more time.
Okay, well, think of yourself as a user. There's only a couple podcasts that I can think of off the top of my head that when they pause and go on breaks, especially around the holidays, usually podcast hosts that's their channel, that's what they do. They'll take like a week or 2 weeks off around the holiday period, and the show will come back in the new year. Well, I'll miss the show during that time, but I don't forget about the show.
Clear. Me too. I mean, I was during summer, there were some podcasts that were on holidays. I'm really happy that in September they start again. So for sure. And I guess also if you create great content, I mean, also people expect your next article. And we will move to the content production segment, let's say. But it's also true that when we tend to create too much content too fast, the quality is going down, and then people just see that you are just creating mediocre content at scale. So I don't think it's a good approach. But let's speak about content now, because Through, by the way, is also a content solution tool, and I guess this is what people here are really interested. So when we prepare this interview, you told me that you have a good way as well of creating content that I will let you explain. But what you told me is that you have few people, I would say even 2 persons in the company, account manager / sales, who can create really expert content and even start with video. So can you explain how this works, how you create this expert piece of content?
Yes. So we're very blessed and lucky that we have 4 thought leaders at the company. These are people who maybe they've only spoken at a couple conferences, but they're already on the circuit. They are getting themselves known. They have something important to say. They're actually working in PPC and SEO and with AI. They have something valuable to contribute to the conversation. So when I look at a content strategy and what we should be doing as an SEO and PPC agency creating content, I want us to create educational content. I want us to educate our partners, our vendors, our clients, our potential clients. I want us to educate people in the auto industry, in the legal industry, like in the different verticals, whether they're brand new to SEO or they're another SEO agency or maybe a social media agency and they're just trying to level up. We need to be able to speak to all levels of these. And so we have 4 thought leaders that can accommodate each of those different levels of expertise and in very specific verticals and actually have data. They run case studies in the background. They're working on client accounts. And so it's phenomenal. And we're in a very, very lucky place to have 4 people. Usually companies will have 1, and it's usually the owner of the company who, as you are, is the thought leader and is representing the company and sharing that knowledge. So when I look at our content strategy, I'm looking at out of these 4 people, what can they talk about right now that has to do with a general conversation that's happening? So AI is the most general conversation that's consistently happening right now. So from a PPC perspective, does our PPC thought leader have something to contribute in this space right now? If so, let's prioritize that. Let's make that our blog focus for this month. Let's make that our webinar and podcast focus. Like, let's really hone in on themes with our content and utilize these thought leaders to emphasize and also dictate what our themes are going to be.
So you also didn't tell me something like one of them is creating a video first and then you translate to a text or
Yes, so we have a couple variations. So one, we have PPC Real Talk, which is by Susan Yen, who is an incredible PPC expert. She writes all about PPC.
so she's
And
writing the article.
she's writing it. And so then we'll take that to our designers, and our designers will start to create infographics around that. And this is something new
this
we're working
PPC
on.
lady, she's like she's not an editor. She's like, I mean, she can write, obviously, she can follow SEO best practice, I guess, but she also like she's working at clients, correct?
Yes, she's a consultant and she's
Yes.
working directly with clients. So this is kind of like that extra 10% workload that
Sure.
gets thrown on.
At least you create expert content backed with real case study, with real experiments, with real whatever. But so you have this first person, and then you have another, or you have 3 other one. But you also told me that some of them start with a video first, right?
Yes. So we have Dane Seville, who he hosts our monthly webinar, and then he also has a podcast called More Than You Can Chew. And so both of those are video platforms first.
Okay.
He does the videos, and then that's when marketing really comes into play, and a bit of what I was mentioning earlier, to where we then take those videos and immediately create a recap blog post. So the YouTube embed of the video goes there, which that is argumentative of, do you do the YouTube embed? Do you do the native videos? Because YouTube, it has the option to then take people to YouTube and to have them escape. But YouTube is part of our marketing channels. It's great for lead gen as well. So we're including that and testing that right now to see what that user flow looks like and if YouTube is worth it versus just embedding your own video content like through Wistia or through Vimeo, something like that. So we have the recap blog post, and then we create a bunch of shorts out of all of these.
So just about the recap blog post, so how you do it? I mean, you take the transcript, you use then, I don't know, like you use ChatGPT or somebody's taking the transcript and rewriting it, or it's just like the default transcript?
So it's a mix of both. So we take the video, export it, and import it into YouTube, drop in the YouTube embed. We have the key takeaways at the top. So for those who are just like, I need the meat and potatoes of this topic.
Yeah.
And then we have the transcript with timestamps pasted below.
Okay.
What I'd like to continue to do in the future, and this is part of everything that we've been revamping with our webinar, podcasts, and all of our video content is to take that even a step further and to have jump to buttons, to have resources with links to any resources or tools that were mentioned within the show, to also have any Q&A dropped in, not just in transcript form, but really highlight for webinars in specific any of the Q&A opportunity and make it more of like a fully fleshed piece of content. Right now, it's here's the video, here's the summary, and here's the transcript, which is great. It's a great start. And for 2 people, that's a heck of a lot already to do. And so as we get more resources and capacity, then we'll be able to make that even more fleshed out.
Interesting. You know, when we prepared this webinar, I mean, you gave me some ideas about this video first approach, because I always take let's say on my side, a text first approach or blog first approach. I have my ideas, I write blog posts, and sometimes I do a video related to this article. And I want to try the opposite, like basically doing my brief, still having my the structure of my contents, and then doing the video first. And even now, when I do videos, it will sound silly, but I will say I do SEO friendly video, because when I speak, not today, but when I do video, I try to integrate keywords. Believe me, I do that. It's really silly, but I'm sure that really, I try to speak in a way that it's SEO friendly.
Yeah. Yep.
So my idea is to do content brief, then start first to do a video, and then extract the transcript, and then rework it, not just to have the default transcript, but rework it in an article. So it's something I want to try, having always both assets, having the video and the related article, not for all of them, obviously, but for key ones, especially when I notice more and more when you check AI overviews and stuff like this, AI overviews and LLM, often especially AI overviews, often they pull information from YouTube. So if you can maximize your chance, to be seen, to be fetched by the AI search, this is something I want to try. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I love that you're saying this is something that I want to try, because from an SEO perspective, there's a whole lot to talk about with AI and what's working, what's not working. But with content, we're learning right now. We're literally testing and learning how to get into AI overviews, how to appear in LLMs. And what's working for some people isn't working for other people. What's working yesterday may not work for you today. Like we're in this really interesting period to where I think by the end of this year to spring next year, from a content strategy point, we'll have a bit more of a roadmap of what it is we need to do to really make sure, and how we're formatting our content, that it is AI worthy. Like right now we can be like, all right, well, make sure you have your summaries, make sure you have your bullets. Like a lot of it kind of echoes the helpful content format of shorter paragraphs, no longer 7,000 words, like just more succinct kind of content. And those are all based off of studies and data that people are collecting right now. But it is in this very weird period to where you do need to test everything and see what is the winning ticket. Like we had our first client come in from ChatGPT, and we all just we were just shocked. We were like, how did it, what did we do? Like what worked? And to go backwards and to try and see like what piece of content got into ChatGPT for ChatGPT to be like, they're the local SEO and PPC agency that we're going to recommend to this random person who is just having a conversation with ChatGPT. And so it's a fun time to be testing content, but I love and appreciate that you're like, I'm testing this right now, because that's what we have to do right now.
Sure. But so to summarize, you have a small team, you have few experts at your company that also help you producing content. So basically you create 6 blog per month, 1 webinar, 1 YouTube video. What is your output per month right now?
Per month, we have 4 short form videos. It's a local search Tuesday that publishes every Tuesday. That includes YouTube and blog post. We have 2 podcast episodes a month. So that's on all podcast channels, YouTube and blog post. We have one webinar a month, and then we have one PPC blog topic. I feel like I'm probably missing something else, but yeah, just a few things every month. Those are just the for sure every month that happens. That's the same.
And then on top, you have something else from time to time.
Yes.
Plus events.
Plus events, plus campaigns, plus case studies.
Right.
A whole bunch of things that come up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think also the key in your strategy is like repurposing content, because you create in one format and you then at least create a second format, either text to video or video to text. I believe is something, I mean, repurposing is nothing new, but especially for small teams and especially with all the tools that are in front of us, it's easier to automate the repurposing process. And I think this is really where we should go in the future, having at least two formats. This is my suggestion, having at least text and video. Not for all of the piece of content, obviously, but for the key one. And as I said, it's also something where I'm going to with Through, which is also, by the way, a small company, and I have a small team. So, and we have a very, very similar, let's say, content production approach and output as well. Let's continue to speak about SEO bit, and I think we will soon have to close. The discussion is going so fast. In fact, I'm like, it's soon 40, but yeah, it's really great, really great. So one thing also that is tough, I mean, when you start a new position, not only when you start, but when you are CMO or head of marketing, is to sell content, basically to tell to your leadership, yes, we should invest in content, So as you said, your company was already doing some stuff, but did you have to prove or to show some ROI to your management, or you have some advice for audience, about how to sell content?
Yes, definitely. I highly suggest focusing on 1 or 2 content initiatives a quarter. And that's what you're selling, those content initiatives. That's what you're going all in. You're either starting something from scratch, or you're going to repurpose 1 or 2 main pieces of content. When you do it on a quarterly basis, okay, for the next 3 months, this is what I'm very focused and honed in on. And you're giving higher ups, you're giving leadership a specific time frame, a realistic time frame, whether you're a small team or you're blessed with a big team and can do it all in probably a month. You also have time to then publish and get a little bit of information of how did it go? What do we want to change for next quarter? Would we want to do something like this again? So it gives time to create a story that you can pitch for a piece of content. And instead of having like, well, here's 15 different initiatives that we're going to partially do for the next year. Instead, by the time you get to the end of a year, if you focus on just 1 or 2 big ones every single quarter, by the time you get to the end of the year, you're going to be able to have really very specific KPIs of what worked, what didn't work, and what you need to pivot for the following year.
Right. We didn't drop enough the AI word in this webinar. And as I said, when I speak, I try to be SEO friendly. So we need to now speak more about AI. I will basically, what is this term again? I don't remember. When you in SEO, when you put many times the same word in the text.
Keyword stuff.
Yeah, keyword stuffing, exactly. No, I will do some keyword stuffing. AI. So the transcript that will be fetched by LLMs will be full of AI words. No, I mean, you already told us the answer, I think, but I want to ask you again. I mean, how do you guarantee that your content is AI ready without losing this human creativity? Because I believe, but you validate the fact that human must be in the loop, right?
Yeah, and I think that this is the winning question right now, and I don't think that there's some rocket science answer behind it. It really comes down to creating great content and what great means. Like my eye twitched just by saying it. I understand the frustration with like, we don't need to hear helpful content one more time, but really it's what it comes down to. Like, give your demographic exactly what they want to know out of a specific topic. Use tools like Through that give you the outline of exactly what should be included in that, what questions people are asking, build everything around what the top 10 performing search results, like what their averages are, what their word count averages are, what their keyword averages are. Like all of the data is there on how to create quote unquote great content. So let's stop focusing on, well, how do I create content that's going to show up in ChatGPT? Just develop a really good content strategy and workflow and process before you hit publish, and then have a separate workflow and process for how you distribute your content so that your content isn't just published and dies. I'm reading Ross Simmons' book right now about create once, distribute for forever. I highly recommend that book. I think it's extremely timely with everything with AI right now, that we don't need to be creating more. We need to just be creating better, and we need to be more strategic with how we're distributing it afterwards. And that's all those little mini pieces of content that a 2,000 word blog post now becomes a 100 word LinkedIn posts that the executives are sharing on their personal LinkedIn profiles. Like it's really much more about distribution with your great content than it is, here's a playbook. Make sure you have 5 bullets, and make sure you have the summary at the top, and make sure you have your jump to buttons, and AI optimize the crap out of it. Like that's, I don't think that there's a proper playbook for something like that yet. We're all just testing right now and trying to figure out, is there a secret to it? On the SEO side of things is a whole nother different conversation. But on the content side of things, just keep focusing on your content strategy and creating less, but creating better content.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot disagree. I mean, we are aligned. We are clearly aligned here on this mindset. And as you said, creating better content, the distribution is key, because I think AI obviously can help us to create faster, better content. And then also AI and automation can help us distribute this great content. Because if you start to create, sorry to say, crap, and you create crap at scale, and you distribute crap at scale, you will just add noise to the noise. And I believe that in our era, noise on noise doesn't work. You need to stand out with quality and few. And honestly, I noticed that people are getting lazy, especially content marketers are getting lazy. AI make us lazy. We tend to create less quality content, and we just believe that, oh, look, I created 10 articles this month or today. How can you create 10 articles in one day that are good? If you don't put your soul into an article, they won't be good. And your soul is your expertise, case study, something that you have done yesterday at this client that nobody else can find and doesn't exist yet in the corpus of content. So bring something unique. And this is, I mean, yes, maybe people will tell us we are wrong. You should just create 10,000 articles in one day and you will get more traffic. But then, good. Do you convert? Do you build trust with your customer? I think this is what people should really ask themselves. And I'm glad that we are aligned.
Oh yeah, and also look at those conversion percentages to those that are creating those 10,000 pieces of content a day, and their conversion rates are 5% versus you who's creating maybe one piece of content a day and your conversion's also 5%. When you're talking about lean teams and you're talking about coming in from an operational perspective and figuring out what to prioritize, what not to prioritize, that's a big indicator right there of
Yes.
you do not always need to do more to get the same amount of results.
Yeah, clear. Clear. And also, we are in the B2B space. You are in an agency. I mean, I also work in agencies or in the SaaS business for B2B. I mean, B2B, I mean, you also need to build trust. And I believe that creating just more content or more assets won't make a big difference for your target customer or buyers. They need to see trust, and how you share trust, I believe, is just via content. Content can be text, audio, video, right? But experience, they want to hear that from you. So yeah, we are aligned. Great content is what we should do in 2026 and already now.
Yes, don't wait.
I would like to finish this webinar with just a quick question, Ashley. So I will ask you. So, and also I told you, this is really my favorite section because it's easy to make shorts. And as we said, we need to create great content. We need to repurpose it and to distribute it. So this is exactly what I'm doing here. We will have a small segment. I will ask you a question, very simple question. You need to answer in 30 seconds, 1 minute. So,
Okay.
investing in brand or chasing leads?
Ooh. Oh man. I'm going to say chase leads because you can measure that output better than you can when you're building your brand. You need both and both feed each other. But for this spitfire quick answer, I'm going to say chase leads.
Yes, you can say both, by the way. You can say anything. There is no rule. You can say anything. You can even answer something else. Next one. Video first or blog first?
Video first, certainly, because with video, you can create so much. You can take the audio and just play with the audio. You can create a bunch of different mini videos. You can create a bunch of different text content from it. Whereas with text, you have to stretch out how you can design that into something else.
Yeah. As true it's a tool to create content. I cannot say video first on my side, but I would, if I have to ask me this question, I would say both. I really see, and as I said, it's something I want to test, video and text on specific topic, not on all topics, but I see some patterns because, by the way, in True, there is also a new feature that can analyze AI overviews. And I started to really identify patterns where videos and content from the same domain on a specific topic works really well. So it's something I will try in the next few months, especially informational content video first. I noticed something here, but I need to do more tests before being able to develop. Next one, tofu or bofu?
I'm gonna say tofu because when you're creating top of funnel content, you can create so much, and this is where quantity can come into play, and you can test a bunch of different kind of educational content and see what sticks. And it's so fun as a content marketer to be able to see all of those different touch points, like with the very first piece of content that brought someone in, and then what warmed them up a little bit, and then what really sealed the deal. Like that, as a storyteller, I want to see that story. I want to see that data. Of course, Bofu content is the one that seals the deal, and that's what we hope we all create on a regular basis. But tofu is more realistic of what we actually end up creating.
Yeah, tofu is key. I mean, everybody's, let's say, saying that we should stop creating tofu content because it will be taken over by LLM. Yes, to some extent, yes, but as an agency, tofu can be used as well by your salespeople. They can use it to do outreach campaigns. They can open the door, sharing a great content, sharing a great article where you educate your audience. And depending on the stage of your buyers, I think tofu can help. So on my side, it's both. I mean, I focus more on bofu, to be honest, but I still want to create also tofu content. And also here I want to make a little twist in the way I will create tofu in the future, because tofu were often just purely educational. And I think we should mix now tofu plus brand mention, meaning that you should also speak about brand on the tofu stage, because when you look at tofu content, most of them don't mention brand. If you say what is SEO, I mean, I think the query I type the most in True when I test new features. But if you do all the what is, often brands, they don't mention themselves. So I think we should have a kind of mix of informational plus brand connection. But well, again, something on my to-do list to test.
Well, I think you're already doing it, because in this webinar alone, you've very casually mentioned a Through update, something that Through does through this. And so it was so naturally done. I don't even think you realized that it was a bit of a flex for the brand.
SEO driven, I think it's SEO way. It's a product-led webinar. It's a product-led webinar. No?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, let's finish with two question. I have more, but the time is running, so I need to choose the one I. Okay, the last two.
Mhm.
Ranking number one on Google or getting recommended by ChatGPT?
Whoo! Okay, well, because Google is still sending way more referral traffic than ChatGPT is, and ChatGPT has a long way to go to catch up. Not to say that it won't very soon, but it has a long way to go. The data shows this. I'm going with ranking number one.
Right. Me too. Me too. Me too. Because also I believe Google is it's a universal content library, and I think it will stay like this. And LLM will, at the end, always pick content from this big library. So
Mhm.
if you rank number one on Google, to be honest, you have a high chance to be recommended by ChatGPT. And the opposite is not maybe true. So yeah. And at the end, create great content. Last question, my favorite question. Is SEO dead?
Oh my goodness. You mean GEO, AIO, XEO? No, SEO is so far from dead. SEO is as alive as it's ever been. If you are a good SEO right now, you're looking at all the traditional SEO tactics and you're diving all in on old school digital PR, and it is working. SEO is so not dead.
Exactly. SEO is not dead. And Google is still one of the main
Yes.
channel driving
Mhm.
traffic to your website. Obviously, everything is going down. It's like this. It's like this.
Mhm.
But yeah, still is driving traffic. So SEO is not dead. Obviously, people will search, continue to search. Just maybe it will be a bit more challenging for us because yeah, there is too many channels right now. Great. I think we can close this session. I mean, it was really great, Ashley, and it went really smooth. I hope people enjoy it in the chat. Let us know. And yeah, as I said, this session will be also on YouTube. And if you watch it, you are already on YouTube, in fact. So I should not say that. So did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy this webinar?
Yes, this was so much fun. I feel like we could have gone a whole nother hour talking about all of this stuff. There's just so much when it comes to content.
Yeah, exactly. And also, as we said, as in the intro, it was like also it's a different topic. I mean, speaking about starting a new job and speaking about process. Obviously, we ended up speaking about content because it's also from where we are coming from. And yeah, I think it was really great. So I think we can close the webinar. Ashley, a last word?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for creating an environment like this to where we can hop on and chat about important things and actual personal journeys and make sure that everyone knows SEO is indeed not in fact dead.
Exactly. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching us. And so see you soon for more content, videos, and blog posts. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.